There you go. I might as well turn my microphone on. I've been doing a great announcement here. It is October 25th. Welcome to the Bible Thumping Wingnet podcast. One more week and it's Reformation Sunday or Reformation Day, I think, or the day after. Next weekend is Reformation, Halloween, all that stuff. But now, right now we've got Matt Slick and Andrew Rappaport. And there you go. I might as well turn my microphone on. Here we go. I've been doing a great announcement here. And I'll turn that off. So, big weekend shindig for the CARM group for Matt Slick. Had a little bit of a get-together with a bunch of people. I unfortunately was not able to make it there, but I sent a Bible Thumping Wingnet representative in the form of Andrew Rappaport. Andrew and Matt, how are you guys?
We're doing great. How are you doing?
Doing well.
I am well. I'm well.
Yeah, Andrew's literally sitting right here with my arm, and if it's either I'm waving on his computer. No, he can wave. Let's see.
That's trouble right there.
Yeah, it is.
You know, I saw a picture on Facebook of Andrew with a rifle in his hand.
Oh, yeah, that was not just a rifle.
It was my AK-47.
That's not a rifle?
Well, technically it is, but it's my AK, yeah. So
it's
in Idaho,
it's not just a rifle,
right,
is the point.
Right. So, but here in Idaho, you can, carrying is kind of what people do, and there's deer to hunt, there's elk to hunt, and I wanted an all-around something for fun, and it just sounds cool, and so got that. And, so go and shoot tomorrow.
Fun, and you got an AK-47?
Yeah. Yeah.
I could probably be arrested in New Jersey just for having that picture. That might be.
Oh, just about. Just about.
But it was fun and not a big deal. But it's because of what I do for ministry work. That's not the reason I got that. But what I do for ministry work, I get threatened every now and then, and so I stuff. So anyway. It was along the lines of getting ready to go out hunting and stuff. People say, well, there's better weapons for that. Yeah, there are. But you know what? To be perfectly honest, I like a little bit of a challenge. It's like going out fishing. I know the guys who get these great setups with all this great tackle and stuff. I have to be minimalistic. Otherwise, I don't really consider it a challenge, and I don't enjoy it as much. So they say people go hunting with those, and I think that's the fun in it, is more of a challenge. So I plan to go do some hunting and do some turkey hunting next year and some other stuff with a friend of mine who's doing stuff. Anyway, that's it. Excuse me.
I was just communicating with somebody in chat, and I missed it. You take that AK-47 to go hunting?
You can.
What do you hunt with an AK-47?
People that break in your home.
Oh, it's a good home defense weapon too. Well, let's get on to other stuff. Today is the official anniversary of CARM. 20 years I started ago. 20 years ago today, and started it when I was looking at my wife, and I said, look, I need to get an internet. She said, what's the internet? I said, well, it's this new thing, blah blah blah. About 2 months later, I decided to develop a web page because I was looking at the internet saying there's a lot of stuff there that's just not very good. Not that I was great or anything, but I could give some answers. So I had to learn how to invent a website. I had to teach myself HTML, teach myself this or that, and I launched it. And to be perfectly honest, I don't know exactly what day that was, but back in the early days, this is what the day I calculated. Oh, wait a minute, it was right here, it was right there, it was right this has to be the day. So it's been this day ever since. And we went from from that nice humble beginning, so to speak, to now getting 65,000 page views a day, and 13 million visitors so far this year, and I think last year we had 16 million. I don't know what's going to be by the time we're done. I don't know. Maybe we're at 14 or 15 million now. I don't know. At any rate, we've got it in Spanish. We're developing it in Turkish and Portuguese. Got the radio show I've been doing for 10 years, and all kind of stuff. So last night we had a really nice shindig. My wife worked for a couple of months basically putting that together. And we had about 125, 130 people show up at Mission Aviation Fellowship headquarters. We rented out their hall. It took us 3 hours to set up and about an hour and a half, 2 hours to tear it down afterwards. But it was a great time. And we had people from all over, New Jersey, South Carolina.
People drove in from Ohio.
One guy from Ohio drove
Actually,
in.
more than one. We had at one table there were 3 people from Ohio. All happened to be sitting at the same table.
Oh, that was coincidental.
Cool. Yeah.
And then my brother came up from San Francisco area. But my other brother came up from L.A. area. So we had people from all over. And then Bill McKeever from Mormonism Research Ministry, he's the one who emceed the event, and he's from Salt Lake City. So it's kind of a conglomeration. Plus, we put a video out of Carlos, who lives in Bogota. He does a Spanish version. So it was a great event.
The room was full of slicks.
That's right. That's right. My brother, his wife, me, my wife, my other brother,
your children,
my kids. So there are at least 7 slicks in the room, which is unusual because there's not that many slicks around. If we had all the kids and grandkids, we'd probably had 20 or so, 20, 30. Yeah. Okay. Wait. I have a bunch of stuff to discuss first. Yeah, I'm ready to talk. Whenever you guys are ready to talk, I don't care.
Well, we're here to celebrate 20 years of CARM, and how better to do it than to have a interaction with a non-believer.
Yeah.
We've got some highlights to play from this past weekend. A skit was made.
You going to play that?
Yeah, I'm going to play that. But
oh, no.
Why don't...
this was the highlight of the weekend. And Matt's going to pretend that he doesn't want you to play it, but Matt has been admitting that this was...
funny.
It was funny beyond... there was no way to top it once that was done. Whoever had to speak afterwards was done.
Yeah, it was really well done. It was fun. So you've watched it, right, Tim?
I have.
Yeah.
I have. And I actually...
We were cracking up.
I didn't edit it at all, so...
Good.
Let me get it going here.
There's a lot of inside jokes a lot of people won't get.
Well, I think that people who have been watching or listening to you on the Bible Thumping Wingnut show, I think about % of them. Pretty much.
I think it'd be enough funnies in there. People get stuff.
Okay, so the name of this skit, this gentleman here is introducing it. What he says is, this is a day in the life of Matt Slick.
Yes. Oh, man. That's Bill McKeever, incidentally.
That could be just about anything, all right? Here we go. It's 11 o'clock in the morning. I started working at about 10:30. Stayed up like till 2 a.m. watching sci-fi. Watched Aliens and Aliens vs. Predator for like the 53rd time. First to get a jacuzzi. It's such a productive day today. I already wrote 5 articles on Mormonism in about 5 minutes. It's amazing what you can accomplish when all you got to do is copy and paste articles from MRM. But being in ministry, I've realized there's a few things I really like, and there's a few things I really hate. The things I really like are, first of all, my wife Annie. Secondly, Calvinism. And third, heavy metal music. But I realize there's also 3 things I hate. One of them is bad theology. Second is women pastors. And the third thing is country western music. I despise that. But speaking of things I like, Where's Nick? 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 Nick, 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 Nick? Nick, Nick? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. She's past 50 and she still turns heads. Oh, yeah. You know, she's a great woman, except for her taste in men. You know, I like Nick almost as much as I like Karm. You know, I know a lot about women. See, what you gotta do is this. I wrote a book called How to Woo and Win Women by Being an Obnoxious Jerk. And in one of those chapters, I said it's called the bewilder filter.
Well, that was fun. Looks like that Dropbox file, we caught up to my downloading it, because I downloaded it. I downloaded the video, but then it wouldn't play for whatever reason.
Well, I think that Matt, you're going to be putting that onto on YouTube, aren't you?
Yeah, I'll be putting it on this week. Yeah, I'll be doing that too.
So maybe we could put a link to that when that's up.
Well,
it was funny though.
Let me see here. It's catching up here. I want to watch that little thing there. Hey, tell us, what is with the nose thing? I was unfamiliar with the nose. Matt, you have to unmute your mic when you...
There we go. It's something I do when I'm goofing around, because now this is going to sound a little...
Your microphone, your mic is on your head.
There we go. Can you hear me fine now?
Yes.
Okay. It's going to sound a little bit braggy, but I got a pretty good sense of humor, and I goof around a lot. And in a room full of people, you know, I kind of set the tone for a lot of things in that we'll goof around and people take shots at me, we take shots. It's just a real loose kind of a thing. And one of the things I'll do is I'll go, yeah, that guy, and then, yeah, I don't like that. And it's just something I did a few times, and Ryan got a kick out of it. And Ryan was the one who was doing that video. So he was imitating me in reference to going ballistic over heresy. So that's what that is. That's an inside joke there. And there's a lot of things I don't do in the camera, but off camera, I have a lot of fun, goof around a lot. So he was doing a lot of things. So when people have gone to my Bible studies, they've seen me interact in person. So a lot of people from the study were there, and they were cracking up on some things that only people would have known. But it's no big deal. That's what it was.
And the other joke I didn't get is all of your material is cut and paste from...
Yeah, because years ago, Bill McKeever right there on the screen, he's the founder and director of Mormonism Research Ministry. I've known him 25 or 30 years, I don't know. And so 25 years, I think. And so we're friends, you know, even long-time friends. So one time he had a graphic on his website on Mormonism, and it was perfect for what I needed in something. So what I did was I took his graphic, and I knew he wouldn't have any problem with that. And so I took his graphic, copied it, put it on my website, and a couple of months later he said, wait a minute, is that my graphic? And I said, yes, it is. I said, and I'm going to look for more stuff. So it's been kind of an inside joke that, you know, I'll take stuff from his site, because he'll give me things, and I'll go, oh, that's good on CARM. It's kind of a running joke. And another thing is that at the end of this skit, there's a reference to
we're gonna be able to play some more.
Okay. There's a reference to buying lunch with Bill, because Bill and I would live in San Diego together, and so one day I went over to buy him lunch because I owed him a lunch, because I went to buy him a lunch once and forgot my wallet. So I said, look, I got to make up for that. So I drove down to pick him up, and we went out to eat, and I forgot my wallet for a second time.
No way.
And so I could see the whole future, that he's never going to let me forget about it. So that's why the inside joke on the end of it is about the lunch and stuff like that, or buying dinner or something. Just a lot of inside things.
We'll see how my computer does here. I apologize. Right. I'm running the Google Hangout, and I've got Mixler going, and I'm sure my son is watching something, and so here we go.
Oh yeah. You know, she's a great woman, except for her taste in men. You know, I like Nick almost as much as I like Karm. You know, I know a lot about women. See, what you gotta do is this. I wrote a book called How to Woo and Win Women by Being an Obnoxious Jerk. And in one of those chapters, I said it's called the bewilder filter. What you do is you become so obstreperous, that means boisterously recalcitrant, so that women can't help but fall in love with you. So let me illustrate it on a knee. Neek, I'm touching you, Neek. Neek, I'm scratching my armpits and I'm getting all sweaty and I'm about to touch you. Neek, I'm picking my nose. Neek, Neek, Neek. Come on, Neek. My back. That almost hurts as much as that vasectomy I had with no anesthesia. Oh man, I've lost track.
Did you have vasectomy without anesthesia? Your mic is off.
Yes, I did. The one side the anesthesia took, the other side it did not, and I ended up finishing it without anesthesia. For real.
Mine was almost as bad. They started the first side before the anesthesia worked. It was the worst. I'm sure women. Hey, I'm sure childbirth is way worse, but that.
No, I don't think so.
A lot.
I've talked to women who had kidney stones and given childbirth, and they've said that kidney stones were worse than childbirth. Period. And I've had a kidney stone, so I got something to compare with. And I'm going to tell you, the vasectomy is up there with the kidney stone. That story. So there's some incredible amounts of pain. But yeah, I did for real.
Did you pass your kidney stone?
I did. It was 3 hours of hell.
Do you know? I didn't pass mine. They went and got it. Do you know how they go in and get it?
Do the urethra?
They don't cut. I tell you that much.
Yeah. No thanks.
That's enough. That's enough for this story.
Yeah. That's great anniversary show.
It hurts.
Back in time, it's about time to go to the radio show. Okay, well I'm gonna put a towel on the best I can. I'll take the radio people in line. Let's go. Let's get in the car. Oh yeah, this Toyota Celica is amazing. It's like my '67 SS Camaro used to drive around SoCal. Stupid Idaho drivers. They don't know how to get on the interstate correctly. I drove on the 105, 205, 305, 405, 605, 95, 1005, 805. I know how to drive. I'm from SoCal. You know, too bad there weren't any cultists around for me to talk to, demonstrate my 30 years plus of knowledge in Mormonism. I couldn't take a leak! My prostate elections are past 55! Oh, man. Piece of crap. My car, it's got a flat tire. I don't know what I'm going to do. I guess I'm going to have to call AAA or whoever you call. Let me get my video equipment so I can post this on the internet. I want to show Bill McKee who actually knows something about Mormonism. Are you Mormons?
Yes, we are.
I taught Jack Packer a thing or two about pilgrims one time. I used to go down to SoCal and minister to punkers. I would pierce my ear and I spike my hair. Also, I know a lot of other things.
So what religion are you?
Let me check on that. I gotta remember that long saying I always say on the radio show. Hold on here. Let's see here. Where is that line? Let me find it here. Yes. Hold on. I'm a presuppositional, covenantal, paedobaptistic, non-cessationistic, charismatic, infralapsarian, amillennial, compatibilistic, non-sacerdotalistic, anti-patrick, sesquipedalian, who attends Calvary Chapel because they don't play. So let me ask you this. If I could absolutely prove to you that Mormonism is false, would you want to know?
I know Mormonism is true.
I can testify.
How could Joseph Smith have seen the Father in 1 Timothy 6:16 says, who got the Holy Ghost light on which human has seen their
Well,
As Ken Cook is looking at his notes in his Bible, that's
That's a Book of Mormon. That's not a Bible.
But okay, yeah, he's looking in his Book of Mormon at his notes, right, for the skit. He was reading along.
you see,
Yeah.
the Bible has been translated so many
But
times.
this is what it says! It's what it says!
According to your interpretation.
But this is what it says!
Yeah, by your interpretation.
Do me a favor.
Okay.
Take your right hand, hold it up vertically,
Alright.
and look to the left.
Okay.
Now slap yourself upside the head.
Alright. Wait a minute.
Wait, don't touch me, Sasquatch boy. I've done Krav Maga and I did Kung Fu like 20 years ago.
Prosecutors. Max Lick. Make noise at high decibels.
I'll make you a deal. Hey, stop, don't do anything. I'll give the Joyce Myers ministry. I'll play a Joseph hand today. I'll even read the book The Shack every night before bed. In fact, I might even ordain a woman pastor and keep pressing that. Can't we just all get along and imagine a form of Christianity where we can all realize the divide is not that wide? How about we go to lunch, guys? And we can talk about it, or we can become good friends. Okay? How about I'll meet you guys over there? And I'll pay, all right? Oh, thank you. Hey, Bill, you got money? I forgot my wallet. Bill. Thank you.
That was good. That was
Yeah.
good. For those of you listening to the podcast, you can go to the BibleWN.com YouTube channel to see that video, or I'm sure it'll be at CARM.org. You can watch that. Well, you're going to post it on your website somewhere?
Yeah, we'll post it up. Yeah.
So the
It was
thing,
funny.
the noises, you mentioned something like that. You mentioned that on here.
Yeah, I make noises and do all kinds of stupid things, and I'm really going to get animated. I mean, here, all you know is what I do, I sit. But, I get animated and have a lot of fun. And
No,
so
some noises
other-
irritate you.
Yeah, but I really want to talk about that too much for all seriousness, because I don't want people to know certain things. But
Well,
I have autism, so certain
heavy metal music. So
no, heavy metal is actually soothing. It's very, very soothing because of my autism. There are certain sounds I don't like, and certain sounds that are just nice. And believe it or not,
what kind of heavy metal bands do you listen to?
well, one of my favorite songs that is soothing is "Coming Undone" by Korn.
And I had to listen to this in the vehicle, in the intergalactic CARM vehicle.
That's right. Yeah, it's for me, it's soothing. And someone sent me an article which I couldn't open or tried to or forgot or whatever about a study done with autistic people, and some of them actually prefer these low sounds. In fact, my brother, I have two brothers, and one of them, he just left an hour ago, and we were talking, and he has similar issues, and he's a programmer, computer programmer, and we were talking about stuff, and heavy metal soothes him as well, and he can't handle certain sounds, like he's driving down the road, and a certain sound in the road was just driving him crazy, and almost to the point where he's breaking down. it's just, I think it kind of runs in our family a little bit. Just what it is, you know, just what it is.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would have liked to see a camera on Matt Slick during that.
Man. Oh,
so Chris Honholz does have that. He basically he has. We saw a little of it. It's kind of far, but you see Matt just literally head and knees laughing, turning red as could be, I mean, almost purple. It was classic.
Well, no, think about it. I mean, I'm not the star of the thing. CARM is what God has done, but you know, there I am, and I'm up at the front, and he's doing this, and I know all the inside jokes. And Ryan, he's a good buddy of mine. Love him. He's a great guy. He imitated me, and a lot of people just knew what was going on, and it was really just a lot of fun. They were really poking fun at me all over the place, and it was fun. So I was cracking up. I was sweating. I was laughing so hard.
Now, someone in Mixler is saying that at least you had your holy underwear on.
Yes.
You actually received that as a gift from about 20 of us that all chipped in and got you some very special holy underwear.
That's true. That is true. But it was a great time, you know, and I'm blessed that God has allowed me to be used by Him to be able to do what I do. And on the way to the event yesterday, I was just asking God, I was praying, just asking Him to give me another 20 years by His mercy, by His grace, if He can allow me to do this longer. And, you know, we just had a 2 or 3 hour meeting downstairs. A bunch of guys from CARM have just come in, and we're meeting. We're going to have other meetings and some other stuff, and try and do some things and tighten the belt and move a little bit more with more direction, let's just say. You know, it's a hard ministry to be in sometimes.
You know, one of the neatest things of the anniversary for those who were there was just hearing when they opened the mic up and hearing person after person coming up and explaining how they found out about CARM, how CARM has, literally one person got up and said that because of CARM and being able to get to know Matt and his wife, it literally saved their marriage. And those were testimonies that were just really touching to see person after person say how they were following after cults and then came upon CARM, and because of that, got to learn the truth, came to know Christ. It's just really a blessing to hear some of those testimonies of how CARM has had a huge impact. And that's just the people that showed up. You think about CARM around the world. One of the neat statistics that one of the board members had come up and said is that CARM is now been in every single country in the world.
Including the Vatican.
Yeah, they were holding out till Vatican City was on CARM.
Wow.
Yep.
So the Pope is reading articles from CARM.
Hopefully.
All right. Well, I'm gonna share the link around and see if we can get some folks in here. But we've got one gentleman here already who wants to talk to you, Matt. You had a discussion with him earlier today, you had said?
Oh, no, if it's the same guy, it's an email set that this guy was telling me that I was basically an idiot, don't know the exact wording, couldn't do anything right, always failed to answer the questions, avoided, things like that, and he could beat me basically on any topic. So unless he's just playing, I don't know. So I said, come on tonight, let's talk.
All right, well, here's Mike. And Mike, I added you to the broadcast, so now you need to turn your microphone on, and I think we'll be able to hear you.
Hello.
Hey, Mike.
How are you?
Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. I'm actually really happy to do this.
You're on with Matt Slick. Yep, we can hear you great.
Great. So he's right. I did email him, and I was a little rude. I don't want to say I regret it, but I can't help but get frustrated at times when I hear people not being honest, okay? And obviously this is my assumption based on hearing and experiencing these debates. I've been actually watching debates in and out between Matt and other theists and atheists for a long time. And most recently I seen one on the Reason or Rational Reason Squad or something like that, and he was on there discussing what I thought he was a expert at, especially based on the debate you guys had with Aaron Roth, which I'm hoping that this discussion doesn't turn out like that. So I'm going to try to be as polite as I can. But I just, at one point, got the sense that, Matt, you care more about not being wrong than you care about speaking the truth. And that's why I wrote to you with such frustration, because I am an atheist. And it's something that was, I guess you can call it development. So when I hear them asking valid questions, you did the same thing with Matt Dillahunty. You dodge questions. One of the questions I remember when he was asking, how can you know the difference between a supernatural effect, right? This is when he was saying, like, oh, you can be the God meter, and you're like, don't call me a God, don't be condescending. You never really answered it. What you did was you went to like a personal account of God speaking to you, and that was it. And then after he hung up the phone, you guys had this discussion, and you're like, yeah, I know what he's doing. He's trying to sound intellectual and blah, blah, blah. You know, which to me was like a low blow because he wasn't online to defend. So that's why I'm on here now. Like, I'm a nobody. I'm not an intellectual by any means. I can guarantee that you have more experience, more knowledge, but I have what I consider common sense, and I do feel that I can get the better of you in a situation to where we talk about something such as, like you said, does atheism make sense? That's what the emails that you wrote, you last wrote to me. Lol, okay, topic is atheism since I assume you're an atheist. Let's see if you can make sense of your atheism. And that's what I'm on here for tonight. Let's see if I can make sense of my atheism, and if you can actually prove your point to me, whether I believe it or not, has nothing to do with it. Let's just see if you make sense, and that's it.
Well, let's cover some bases first. You said I'm not being honest, right?
That's the impression I get, yes.
Okay, and what do you think honesty is?
Honesty is knowing the truth and not saying the truth.
Okay, so do you think I know something and I'm purposely hiding it and being deceptive?
I think there's sometimes people ask you questions that you feel would put you in a, I guess you could say, situation to where you feel like they would be getting the better of you versus you just acknowledging, hey, listen, that's something beyond my ability to understand.
Is that an issue of honesty?
I would say so.
Okay. I guess you and I have a different definition of what it means to be honest.
But that's not the point here. We're not talking about what
Yes,
our definitions.
Well, you want to see, you come out with accusations. I'm dealing with your accusations.
But it had
you have a certain perspective.
Deal with my accusation. That's what you're doing right now. You're like, you tend to do this a lot. You like, and you're very.
Okay, I'm going to cut you off. Listen to me. All I got to do is ask Tim to get rid of you. I want you to listen to me. You came out and you started with something. I'm dealing with what you said, one thing at a time. You make accusations. You are telling people that you know what's in my heart and my mind.
No, I said it's in a,
listen to me.
That's the impression.
I listened to you and I took notes while you were talking. You said, I'm not being honest. You said that I care more about not being wrong than knowing the truth. I wrote down what you said.
Yeah,
and
I said that's the impression I'm getting.
Oh, so it's just your opinion. You didn't say that.
What else is there?
Look, you're the one who's making the statements. I'm asking you to defend your statements and your accusations. If you want to retract the statements and rephrase them, then we can move forward.
Okay, well, then I'm going to ask you, do you agree that I said that it's what I am basically perceiving you to be as, or did I say you are being dishonest?
Well, look, you can have any impression you want.
Thank you
can
very
say
much.
However, you want to have an impression. So what?
Okay, that's what I said. So what? That's my impression.
So what your impression? So what?
Okay. Now that you know that that's my impression, let's go on with it.
So in other words, you don't know if I'm being honest, do you?
No.
Why would you accuse me of being a liar then?
Because, as I said before.
Oh, you are accusing me of being a liar.
Oh, wow. Okay, so we have to be that. Okay, so if I have to be that careful with my words.
Yes, you do.
Okay, then I will. Then I will. Then I take back what I said. I get the impression that you care more about not being wrong than being truthful. That is the impression I get. Why do I get that impression? That's what you asked me.
Oh, because you don't like what I do, and you're an atheist, and you're going to always think the negative.
Mr. Matt, I love what you do. You make my life more interesting. I wouldn't be on here talking to you if I didn't like what you do. I actually hope.
So what is it I do?
You defend your faith.
You like that?
I love it because it gives me a chance to think and have this conversation that I'm having with you now. I like what I'm doing right now. I'm in California. It's 6 o'clock, and I'm enjoying my time.
Okay. Well, I would advise you that if you ever want to have a serious dialogue with me or somebody else who's an apologist, don't start by attacking their character.
I didn't. I can only tell you what
you doubted my honesty and said I was more concerned with my ego than truth.
Sir, I have the right to doubt your honesty.
That's not. I'm telling you, it's not a good approach to start with a personal attack on somebody.
Okay. Let me ask you this.
This is what happens when you do.
Let me ask you this. Do you believe that people that don't believe in God basically really know there's God and they're just denying it? Yes or no?
There is no yes or no in this one. It's not a true dichotomy for yes or no. There are different people in different situations.
So what do you feel? Do you feel people that reject God or reject the idea or belief of God, do you really think that they know that in their heart and they're just saying no? Or do you think that they really don't believe in God?
You don't want me to give me the other option, or do you want me to only be restricted to what you're saying?
Sir, you can answer it any way you want. I'm not getting any rules.
Well, you said or this or that, and neither one of them apply.
Okay, neither one of them apply. So then, why don't you give me the answer then to what you best feels the answer?
What I believe is that people who deny God like you do it purposely in your own will and your own mind, and that many people come to the place of believing the lie that they've put upon themselves so that they think that they're not suppressing the truth when they really are, and that there are variations within those poles that can happen within different people.
So, okay, so to clarify, you believe that ultimately I'm denying God and I'm believing my lie, is what you're saying?
Yes, that's good. That's good. Yes, that's what I believe.
Great. So let me ask you this then. What is the difference between you making that accusation on my part because of my disbelief versus what I said to you?
You asked me what I believed. I didn't attack you and call you a liar.
Sir, I said it's what I get from seeing you. I never called you a liar. I said I can't.
I said, why'd you call me a liar? And you said, because.
You're right, and I took that back because I didn't realize how specific I'm going to have to be within talking to you, but now I do. I said I can't help but get the feeling that you care more about being correct than you care about being truthful.
Okay.
You just told me now.
Then what am I supposed to do with that? So what? It's your opinion. So what?
Thank you very much. It's my opinion. That's what I
said. Why are you bringing it up? What do you want me to do? Argue about your opinion? I don't care. It's like you saying you like blue better than green. That's nice. Now what do we talk about?
Well, no, it's not about no. That's, you know what? If you're really gonna have to, I guess you could say, stoop to that horrible of an example, then
you understand the point.
No, sir. The thing is,
it's your personal opinion about something. It's subjective to you.
About something.
So what? If you like blue over green, so what? So what that you have this opinion? You come onto the show and you start attacking me. It's your opinion. Sir, that's nice.
Sir,
now what do you want?
You want to use the word attack, and I'm asking you. I'm asking you. Okay, fine. Take it that way. That's your opinion. We're going to use the same words. I'm asking you a very simple question. How is that different than what you basically set on every atheist, meaning people that do not believe in God? You are saying that they deny God, which you're basically implying that they are lying and they're just believing their lie. How is that different? You're saying
there's a difference between lying and believing a lie.
Got it. So what's that difference, please? Explain it to me.
I already did. People can deceive themselves and then come to the point of believing that deception and not believe that they are lying, but they're believing a deception at that point.
Great.
So those are two poles, and there's variations between those poles.
So does it start by them knowing that they're rejecting God, and then they just...
The Bible says every man knows God in his heart. You've suppressed it. According to the Scriptures, that's what the Bible says.
I understand that, sir. I understand that, sir. But I'm asking you this: for me to suppress it, Does that mean I initially, when I first made this decision, did I initially know what I was doing, and then suddenly I just got
don't know
lost?
what you know.
I'm saying, how does that process work?
I don't know how the process works. I don't read your
God, you
mind,
don't-
nor do I read other
I kn-
people's minds. I'm
So
just
then
telling you
how
what
can you
Scripture says.
how can you say that I know I'm denying God, but somehow, some way later on, and not knowing this, I start believing my lie? You don't know what I'm thinking, but you
I
know
said it's
that.
a possibility between certain people, and I particularly think that that's what you've done because of what the Scripture says. You have denied God in your unrighteousness. Now you believe the lie there is no God.
And that's exactly my point. You're saying, okay, let's start this way. What does denying God mean?
To deny, you know what the word deny means? To say he doesn't
I'm
exist, for example?
Sir, I'm asking you. I just want to make sure that we're
To
very
say he
specific
doesn't
on what.
exist?
Yes, to say that's what denying means, according to you, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So within myself denying God, right? Because it says it in Scripture.
Mm-hmm.
Scripture says that every man knows there's God, right?
That he's suppressed. Now the Bible says that they naturally know, and that people have suppressed the truth of God in their unrighteousness. That applies to you.
Great. Now give me an
Take it up with
example.
God. I'm not going to answer questions for God. I'm telling you what He has revealed. If you say, "How does that work in your
Sir,
particular
you have
heart?"
to be ready to defend your faith. That's part of what you're supposed
Hey,
to do. That's what you do.
I can't read your heart. I don't know your heart.
Sir, my heart doesn't read anything. There's no words in it. It
Unlike
pumps
you,
blood.
I don't start off with personal attacks about your character.
Yes, you do. Your default to atheist is a personal attack. You
It
just
is?
admitted it.
So you
Yes,
admit that there
sir.
is no God, or you deny God's existence?
I do not have enough evidence to believe that any such God that you profess exists. Yes. And let me go a little bit further. If you are the source of information or a source of information, then it's even more confirmation as to why I don't believe in a God. Because if I'm seriously going to sit here and I'm going to wonder about something so important, such as this topic, and for some reason, somebody that professes that they have plaques on their wall and they've been doing this for so many years, and I get this basically subjective opinion that you dodge questions, as an intellectual person that's seriously seeking for truth, right? Why am I only here to listen to people like yourself and others, and that's what I'm supposed to accept?
I don't know. Why
evidence?
are you here?
I'm here. You know why I'm here. I told you. Okay, sir. In the very beginning of the email, you even said I said to you that I feel like I can take you on, right? So you just asked me a question you already knew, and we started
What question
by
did I ask that I already knew? I'm sorry.
Yeah, whatever.
No, I'm
If
serious.
I'm
What
talking
question
to-
did I ask that I didn't already knew? Which one are you referring to?
Sir. What I meant to say was the question you asked was, why are you here? Didn't you just ask that question?
Yeah.
Yes or no?
Yeah,
Okay,
I did.
so you
Several
know why I
questions.
was here.
I'm trying to get the right one you're talking about.
No.
Mike, I muted you because I wanted to address you. Mike, I genuinely want to hear you engage with Matt Slick. I think it can be a healthy conversation. I'm going to ask you to calm down a little bit and, just take it a little slower. Let Matt finish his thoughts and stuff like that. I want this to go on, and I want it to go on for a while. But if you continue to get more and more excited, I'm going to end it. Okay? I appreciate you being here, and I want to hear this engagement. But let's try not to, attack each other personally. Talk about some of the things you believe in or don't believe in. Okay, Mike?
Okay. I apologize.
That's all right. It's all right. It happens all the time. We do it as well. Christians do it as well.
Thank you.
So let's avoid personal attacks and talk about like what you believe and what you don't believe, and see how we go from there.
Okay. Am I able to be heard? I don't know if I am.
Yeah. Your mic's back on.
Okay, great. So basically, I mean, I guess I kind of don't know how to start this. I don't believe that there is a God. I don't believe in such a thing as objective purpose or objective morality. I am extremely interested in the idea of the logical absolutes being conceptual or non-conceptual. That was one debate I heard with you and Matt that actually caught my interest, and you know, any one of those topics I would love to discuss with you. Again, I have my own kind of foundation. Go ahead.
Let me ask you then. You said you don't believe there's a God. Let's ferret that out. Do you believe there is no God, or do you lack belief in God?
Yes, I'm an agnostic atheist. I lack a belief in God.
All right.
I'm not making a positive claim.
Okay, so you lack belief in God. All right, so do you behave based on what you believe or what you don't believe in?
I behave on the experiences of the world I live in, which is basically no different than anyone else. Basically, can I finish my point, please? I will say this. There is nothing that you as a Christian can do or behave like that I cannot do or behave like.
Okay, let me ask another question. Put it in a text here. Let's not have you avoid questions, all right?
Thank you, sir. Do
you behave based on what you believe in or don't believe in?
So, to get more specific, do I live my life based on the belief of a God?
No, I said, do you behave based on what you believe in or don't believe in?
Yeah, so, you know, this was a question that you brought up to Matt Dillahunty, and he, I think, explained it really well. You can kind of flip it both ways, you know. And
do you behave based on what you believe in or don't believe in? You said I dodge questions, don't answer stuff.
Yeah,
I'm asking this.
Well, what I wanted, I know, sir. I know, sir. And what I want to do is basically explain my perspective. So I can say, right? Okay, I'll have fun with this, actually. Let's do it. I base myself on both, what I believe in and don't believe in.
Let me rephrase here. I'm going to rephrase it a little bit, cater it to you a little bit more, okay? Seriously.
No, so I answer the question. It's both. It's both. I believe I do both.
Well, I'm catering it to you because you said lack. So
no, sir. That's the question. I answered the question. I believe in both. Basically, it's like this. If I saw a bridge and I did not believe the bridge was stable, I wouldn't walk across it. And if I saw a bridge and I believed it was stable, I would walk across it.
No,
that's not it. Well, that's kind of how. Okay, then I rephrase the question.
If you don't believe it's stable, it means you believe it's not stable.
I'm sorry. Repeat it one more time.
If you believe it's not stable, that's why you don't go across it. Not because you don't believe it's stable. If you don't believe it's stable, it's just a phrase for saying you believe it's not trustworthy. Look at the text, and I'd rephrase it for you a little bit. Do you behave based on what you believe or what you lack belief in? Let me illustrate something first, or tell you something. I'm thinking of a concept in my mind, but I'm not going to tell you right now, okay? I'm thinking of a concept. Now, do you believe in that concept or not that concept? Well, you can't believe in it because you don't know what it is. So you have a lack of belief. There's no commitment either way. It's just a lack. A lack means basically nothing there. So you can't affirm or deny or anything my concept, which I'll tell you here in a second. You with me so far? So could you behave now? Before I tell you what it is, I want you to tell me how you would behave based on the concept I haven't revealed to you yet. Illustrate how you do that.
So would I be able to behave based on, like, if you are saying that you wanted me to do something, but I would have to know what's in your mind that you wanted me to do, behave like?
No, I didn't say that. I said a concept. I'm thinking of a concept. Now, are you able to act or make a statement of affirmation or denial about that concept, but you don't even know what it is? Because you have a lack. That's what a true lack of belief is in something, okay? It could be a concept, it could be a position, it could be a thing, whatever. You're experiencing, and I'm not knocking you, because I haven't told you, but you're lacking affirmation or denial, belief, disbelief, anything, because I haven't told you what it is. You don't know. That's what lack of belief means. There's nothing there.
Okay.
All right? Okay. So here's the concept. Okay, there is an ice cream factory on the fourth largest moon of Jupiter. Now, if I tell you, but do you believe that's the case? I'm assuming you're going to say, probably not. Okay. Now that you have this concept in your mind, I could say, do you believe it's real or not real? Do you believe it's there or not there? Now you can make a decision. And I've had atheists say, well, I don't know if it's really there or not, and they play a game. Come on, the point is this, that what it means to lack belief in is a non-position. It's nothing there. You don't behave based on what's not there. You behave based on what is there. And when you say the bridge, you lack belief in it, or you say you don't believe, as you said, don't believe it's structurally sound, what you are saying is, I believe it's not structurally sound.
But it is a word game. That's exactly what I was talking about, what Matt explained to you. So you can flip belief or not belief in both ways. So I don't understand why your question is even presented as if
because I tried to show you. Now, I understand how Matt Dillahunty works, and I'm willing to, and he's supposed to arrange.
No, sir. What I was saying was, you just said, okay, the bridge example, right? You flipped the idea of what I said when I said I saw a bridge that's not stable. Therefore, I lacked the belief that it's strong enough to carry me. Now, I didn't walk across it, so I haven't experienced the stability of the bridge.
Yeah.
But I still was not comfortable.
It's a semantical issue here. Because what you're saying, here, when you say you lack belief that it's strong enough to support you, what you're saying is you believe it isn't strong enough. You don't know. But you lack something. You know what lack means? Nothingness. In the context of believing in God and a commitment. Because if I were to ask you, do you believe in God? You say, I don't believe in God. Do you mean you believe he doesn't exist or not? You're going to behave based on what you affirm, what you know, what you believe. So if I were to say the Bible teaches God exists, therefore God exists, you're going to respond to it because you have certain beliefs about logic, certain beliefs about expectations, and various things like that.
Okay, that's fine. I'm fine with that.
See, I don't dodge the questions as well as you think. Or excuse me,
you're asking the questions. You can't ask the question. I'm looking up the definition of lack right now. The state of being without or having enough of something.
Okay.
That's a definition.
That's one definition.
Therefore, I know that's one definition, right? But what I'm saying is this. The lack of belief. You want to be very specific here, okay? And let's just not pretend that we don't know what I'm understanding, that we don't know what I'm talking about.
Don't say, wait, I got to call you on something. Don't say to me, let's not pretend. Don't get into the issue of trying to read my heart and mind and try and poison the well ahead of time. Each time you do that, I'm going to call you on that. Please don't tell me that, let's pretend, Matt, that we're going to be honest. Don't do that.
Okay. Jeez. Here's the thing. Lack of belief in a God, the way I'm explaining it, means the evidence presented so far in the United States of America in my 36 years of living is not enough evidence to convince me that a God exists. However, I am not saying that God does not exist or is impossible to exist.
Okay, let's work with it. Let me try and work with you, okay? You said you like the tag thing, the transcendental stuff, laws of logic, right?
I am definitely interested in that.
Okay, let's work with it.
Yes.
All right, so you agree that there are laws of logic, law of identity, law of non-contradiction, law of excluded middle? Yes. Do you know what those are? I mean, I'm not trying to be condescending. I don't know. When I say, do you know what those are?
No. I like that you do that. I like that you do that. No, I do know what they are.
Okay, good. Yeah, and please tell me if I'm being condescending or sounded. Let me know. It's not my intention. Okay.
No, so, I don't care, bro. I like it.
I do. It's a matter of integrity with me, even though I blow it sometimes.
And I'll respect you.
Okay. So you know what these laws are. Now, these laws are abstractions.
Okay.
Abstraction requires a mind.
Okay.
So what is the mind that's authoring the abstractions?
The mind that has the ability to process the laws of logic.
All right. So let's
It can be
say,
any mind.
okay, any mind. So then would you say that the laws that they process are external to the mind or the product of the mind?
Well, I would say, let me think about this actually here.
Let me say it again, because I want you to think
No,
it.
no, I understand what you're saying. I understand
Well,
what you're saying. I understand what you're saying.
okay.
I understand what you're saying.
They're either the product of the mind or they're not the product of the mind, is another way of saying it. They're external to us or they're internal to us. Let me offer some more stuff. It'll help you think it through maybe. You and I think about the laws of logic, but your brain's different than my brain. You and I, for example, contradict each other. I'm going to just say this for the simplicity's sake. You believe no God exists. I believe God exists. I'm not exactly representing your position properly, but just for the sake of argument, for the counters, okay? So you are saying one thing in contradiction to what I'm saying. Well, how do we know who's right or wrong? Well, we look at evidence as we look at the various things. But what we do is we both appeal to the laws of logic. You do and I do.
Okay.
But you're wherever you are. I'm here in Idaho. Well, the laws of logic are not the product of your mind, nor are they the product of my mind. If they're the product of my mind, then I just declare I win everything because they're the product of my mind. The laws are dependent on my mind. Therefore, I'm right, and you're automatically wrong. And of course, that doesn't work because we know that's not true. So it can't be that the laws of logic are the product or invented or developed by or whatever, the product of your mind and or my mind. Because if they were...
Well, let me ask you this.
Okay.
Let me ask you this. The laws that occur within the natural universe, are they a product of the mind or independent of the mind?
Well, that's different. The laws of the...
I know it is. I know it is. I know it is. I know it is. There are things that you can measure. It's a different thing, but I would say the laws of logic, they're not the same, but they exist regardless of the mind in regards to their truthfulness. And
you need to
that means it's very similar to this. If a tree falls in the forest and no one's there, does it make a sound?
No, it doesn't.
Meaning, although there might not. Well, let me explain. Let me finish my point.
The answer to that is
means this.
No, it doesn't. That's the answer.
No, it does. No, to that question.
Yeah, it's a technical answer. The answer is no, because sound occurs in the brain.
You want to bet? I'll bet you on that.
Okay, well,
I've already had this debate with someone else, and we can actually refer to science. But let's get on that. You can actually look that up yourself, or anyone listening to that. Sound is a series of waves. Anyways,
no sound
so
waves
what
are
I'm
different
saying
than
is
sound.
this.
Go ahead.
Sound is vibration. Would you agree sounds are vibration?
Let's go on. Laws of logic, okay?
No, hold on. I just want to. I'll go on. Would you agree that sound is vibrations?
No.
Yes or no, sir?
I said no.
Sound is not a vibration.
I didn't see you. No, I didn't say. No. You're saying wording things differently. Sound. You said sound is vibration or sound is a vibration. Those are different.
Okay, which one do you think it is?
Well, look, if I clap my hands, it sends pressure waves into the atmosphere. All right.
Great. And that's what sound is, correct?
No, those are pressure waves. The pressure waves hit my eardrum. The eardrum vibrates, sends into the signals into the brain. Then I hear the sound, and it becomes sound.
But ultimately, sound doesn't exist without these pressure waves, correct?
Can we just move on? We're not going to. We're wasting time here. Okay.
All right. That's sir. Without disrespecting you, that's a question dodge, and we will move on.
Wait. Look, I've already addressed it, and I try to tell you, sound waves occur in the brain because the brain is where if light. Look it this way. If light is coming in through the room, and there's no one there to see it, is there sight?
That's not the question. Is there light would be the question.
If light rays, because light is an oscillation in the atmosphere, if the light is coming through and there's no one there to see it, is there sight? The answer is no.
It's not.
If there's sound.
No, sir, you're phrasing it. Sir. I don't want to be disconnected. So
you want to go through this? You want to go through this? Do you want to know that oscillations of sound are the same thing as light, only at a higher, a more base frequency? You're dodging all over
Sir,
the place.
listen. I'm not. Oh my God, you're doing it again.
Don't use the Lord's name in vain, please.
Listen. Listen to this. Is sound pressure waves?
No.
Yes or no? So when you said you clap your hands and pressure waves enter your ear and your brain perceives it to sound, I'm asking you, does sound exist without these pressure waves? Yes or no?
Sound in the brain doesn't exist without... Actually,
Sir,
yes, it
does
does.
sound-
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. I can prove it
So
to you.
basically,
I can prove it to you.
So you're saying that. So you're
I can
saying
prove
without
it to you. Say prove it. I'll prove it to you.
What is the
That sound occurs without pressure waves.
Okay, prove it.
Right now. Ready? I'm an astronaut. I'm out in space. All right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm outside the capsule. I don't have any air around me. I'm in a complete vacuum. I'm going to die in about 30 seconds. I happen to have tinnitus in my ears, and I'm hearing the sound of the tinnitus in my ears with no sound waves around me.
Correct.
So sound occurs without the pressure waves. Isn't it? I have tinnitus.
Great.
I'm hearing a high pitch right now. It doesn't matter if I'm in a vacuum or not. It occurs in the brain.
Oh, okay.
I just proved proved your case was wrong.
So, sir, let me get a point in. Jeez. Wait, I'm seeing the symbol again. Does that mean I'm doing something wrong? Can I go on?
Go on. Go ahead. Go on.
Hello. Thank you very much. When you clap your hands, right, and they send these pressure waves within the planet Earth, right, does it send out pressure waves, as you said? Yes or no?
Yes.
When a tree falls in the forest, does it send out pressure waves?
Yes.
Yes or no? Okay. That's my point. My point is within the Earth we live in, right, because neither of us have been to space, okay, we experience sound not by tinnitus, a malfunction of the brain, right, by pressure waves, as you described it. That's how you're listening to me right now. So therefore, if the tree falls in a forest, it does make what sound is made of. Can it be heard, is what you're referring to, just like the light? No. Going back to logic, it's the same way. If there's no one here to experience the laws of logic, it does not mean the truth of the laws of logic are not truthful. No, somebody's...
Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Now, let's get back to the laws of logic. Are the laws of the logic, are they product of your mind and my mind?
Yes. I would say that we experience them more than it is a product.
I didn't ask if you were the experience. I said, are they the product? Does your brain produce them? They were not there, and now your brain is producing the laws of logic.
Oh, it's such a difficult question.
It's an easy question.
I'll tell you why. It's because not really. I mean, not really. Does the laws produce it? Does the brain produce it?
Does your brain?
I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no. No, the brain is not the production. It's more of a recognition.
Very good. That means the laws of logic exist independent of your brain and my brain.
The truth of the laws of logic, yes.
The truth of the laws of logic requires a statement for it to be true, requires the assumption in the law of identity, law of non-contradiction, and the law of excluded middle. So you're begging the question in that sense. So you agree that they exist.
What's the question I'm begging? What's the question I'm begging? You said you're begging the question. What's that question?
Okay, never mind. Look.
No, I want to know. I want to know.
I'm seriously excluded middle. A statement's either true or false. You're making a statement that it has truth in it. You're begging the question about what truth is. You're assuming the validity of the laws of logic. So my question...
I'm assuming the validity.
Okay. The laws of logic, as you already said, are abstractions. You said that earlier. The laws of logic are not dependent upon your mind. Are the laws of logic true, independent of all of our minds on the planet Earth? If they're not
Are the
dependent
laws of
upon
logic?
our minds, if they're not dependent upon our minds, then they're not dependent on anybody's minds for their validity. Therefore, their truth is independent of our minds, isn't it?
Yes, but here's the thing. If there's no minds to recognize the laws of logic, the truth might as well be as valid as something that doesn't make sense.
One step at a time.
Just because, I won't, let me finish my point. Just because nobody is here to identify the laws of logic doesn't mean that they're independent of a mind to where, like, oh, they suddenly exist because nobody is here to basically process the laws of logic.
You're not listening. I never said they were independent of a mind.
Oh, sorry, I must have misheard you then.
Yeah, you need to listen more carefully. I mean, no disrespect, man, but you need to. I said your mind, then my mind. I meant yours and mine. I didn't mean anybody else. Then we went to everybody else, because if it's not dependent upon your mind or my mind, and then we concluded it's not dependent upon our minds, but yet they're universally true, then they can't be dependent upon anybody's minds on Earth, all the people, because it's just an extension of your mind and my mind as far as quantity goes of people. You and me are two people. What about 4? What about 1 million? What about 20 million? It's not dependent upon our mind. They are independent. You agreed there. Now the next question is, are the laws of logic universal? Are they always true for everybody?
I would say yeah. Why not?
Okay. So would you agree then that they are transcendent? They transcend what we call space and time. What we mean by this is that they're not dependent on their validity for space and time or any people. They transcend those, right?
No. What do you mean by transcend?
They're not dependent upon any human being because we're limited, we're finite, and they're not dependent upon when they are for their validity, nor where they are for their validity, whether it's in California or Idaho, or 10 years ago or 10 years in the future. They don't have an effect on the validity of the laws of logic. Would you agree?
Yes, the validity of the laws of logic, yes.
Mm-hmm. So the laws of logic are not dependent upon human minds, not dependent upon time, and not dependent upon space or location. They are transcendent. And you said they're abstractions. Now I've got a question for you.
Define what you mean by transcendent. Define what you mean by transcendent.
I just did. They're not dependent.
Yeah, say it one more time.
Okay. They transcend space and time. They're not dependent upon their space and time, anything in space or time, for their validity.
What do you mean?
Okay.
Space and time.
What state do you live in?
California.
Okay. I'm in Idaho. Are the laws of logic dependent upon where we are? California or Idaho? Do they change if I go back down to California?
I'm sorry?
Do the laws of logic change if I drive back down to California? Are they different where you are? No. Okay. So if I were to go, I used to live in California, all right, for many years. So were the laws of logic valid when I was in California 20, 30 years ago?
Okay, I would assume so, yes.
Yeah. And hopefully, if I go there next week, they should still be valid, right?
Correct.
Okay, so they are not dependent on when and where you are for their validity.
Correct.
That means they're transcendent in that they're not dependent upon space and time for their validity. They transcend space, they transcend time. They're not dependent upon them. That's what it means by transcendent in this context, okay?
Okay.
All right. So we have the absolute laws of logic. They don't depend on space and time for their validity, which means they're absolute. They don't alter. They don't change. Right?
I'm not really certain on this whole absolute thing.
Let me define it. They don't change.
They don't change.
Right? The laws of logic are constant. They're always true.
As far as we know, yes.
Okay. So they are transcendent, they're absolute, they're not dependent upon human minds, and as you admitted earlier, they're abstractions. Now,
Okay.
would you agree with me that an abstraction requires a mind?
What do you mean by abstraction?
An abstraction is a thought, a concept, an idea.
Okay, a thought, and you're asking me, does a thought need a mind?
An abstraction, the act of considering something as a general quality or characteristic apart from concrete realities, an impractical idea, something visionary and unrealistic, the act of taking away or separating, withdrawal, that must be mathematics or something, secret removal, another one, absent-mindedness. Okay, now we're talking about the issue of thinking and talking, so it has to do with the issues of the mind. Okay? So an abstraction requires a mind. It's a thought, it's an idea, it's a concept, right?
Yes.
Okay, so abstractions requires mind. Good. Now, what we have agreed on is that the laws of logic are not dependent upon human minds, but they do require a mind because they're abstractions. They're also transcendent, and they are absolute. Now, can you please explain to me from your atheistic perspective how that's possible?
Well, I told you I never believed they're absolute. Let me ask you this:
You said you agreed already.
Okay, well then I take it back. I don't agree in absolutes. We can't even be sure that we're absolutely here right now, right? That's why this idea of absolute certainty is something that actually. Do you believe in absolute certainty?
Absolutely.
Okay, so then there's a big difference.
Do you? Do you?
I just said no.
So you're absolutely sure you don't believe in absolutes?
No. I know there's something called, within the reality I experience, there is a source of certainty that I have to live by, right?
You're certain about that?
I am certain about that.
Okay.
But
You're certain about uncertainty.
But there is always the question, can I wake up from a dream right now and be a freaking cow?
Okay, we're not talking about Matrix.
No, I'm not. I'm talking about absolute certainty and the difference in why I don't believe and why I question this idea of absolute certainty.
But you're absolutely certain that there are things you can't be certain about.
No, sir. I already told you, within the reality I live in, there is a certain amount of certainty that I must go by in order to survive within the society I live in. That's not absolute certainty in the context of what you're referring to.
No,
and you know
it's absolutely certain that there's an amount of certainty you must have in order to work in a culture.
Sir, I'm sitting here telling you right now, I do not believe in absolute certainty. I do believe that at any moment, I could wake up.
You're absolutely sure that you don't believe in absolute certainty?
Yes. I'm absolutely, yeah, I know what you're trying to say. I agree. It's funny. It's cool. But you understand what I'm saying right here.
You realize you just refuted yourself.
Absolute certainty within the context that we are both referring to is something I do not believe in.
So you don't know if the laws of logic are true?
Well, I don't even know if the laws of logic are as far as the reality I live in, yes, they are true. I do believe that they're true.
Wait a minute. As far as the reality you live in? What does that mean? What does that mean? The reality you live in?
It means...
Is it different than mine?
It means that the reality... Are we talking to each other?
Well, I don't know. Are we, Mr. Solipsist?
Well, there we go. Hey, hello. If we're sharing the same reality right now, then something is similar going on between us.
Well, we're both
using the same laws of
logic, right? If we're using the same laws of logic, then the laws of logic operate within our reality, and they're obviously not dependent upon your mind and my mind. They have an independent quality. Since you've already refuted yourself, and I've showed you that you refuted yourself about the issue of certainty about uncertainty and things like that, I'm showing that you're being
you try to do it.
I'm trying to show you that the laws of logic that you're using are certain. Otherwise, Blue sleeps faster than Wednesday. You already admitted that the laws of logic are not dependent upon time and space. If they're not dependent upon time and space, then it doesn't depend when you are or where you are. They have their universal truth quality. You cannot therefore automatically or also say that they may not be true, because then they would be dependent upon something else for their validity. You refute yourself. In order for me to show you that, I have to assume the law of non-contradiction and its validity. You do too in order to recognize it. You refute yourself at every stand.
Let me ask you a question. Well, let me ask you a question. Let's just
You're inconsistent with your own
say,
rule.
you know what? It's so funny because I don't want to be disconnected, but I can see now that is your show. You haven't. No, you like to like run on and you don't want to let people finish. And if I start speaking at a tone, I'm going to be paused or muted and told to calm down. Okay, thank you very much. Now, in regards to this absolute certainty idea I was speaking about within the context, I do reject this idea of absolute certainty. Absolutely certain. Yes, the idea of me using absolutely within a context of having a conversation is not the same in regards to the context that we were speaking about within absolute certainty. They're different. It's lazy talk. That's the difference. Now, how about this? The laws of logic. When was those first discovered? Within our... Okay, was there a time where we did not even know what the laws of logic was? Would you agree, would you at least assume not even know what the laws of logic was?
I'm sorry, what? You broke up a little bit. What?
Was there a time within our human species, in your opinion, that the laws of logic was unknown?
I don't know.
You don't know. Okay, fine. What happens if the laws of logic are violated?
Then we have atheism.
What happens?
We get atheism.
You have atheism?
Yeah, we get atheism, for example.
You're saying that if you violate the laws of logic, you yourself, you're an atheist?
No.
What is the punishment? What is the punishment? Why are the law? Why are you trying to prove? Why are you trying to prove something with something that that is later discovered within our species, and you think it's like this checkmate answer, like, oh, the laws of logic, and they're indisputable because they have to be presented by some type of time and space. What does that have to do with and prove that there's a God?
Here's how it works. There's what's called a disjunctive syllogism. It's when you only have two things to work with. We have a true dichotomy when we say there's God, or it's the case that there is no God. There is no other option. There's no third option. We either have God exists, or we have the case that God does not exist. When we only have two options to account for something and one is negated, the other one is automatically validated. It's called a disjunctive syllogism. We have atheism or not atheism. We have Christianity or not Christianity. We have the thing and the negation of the thing. In your worldview, as an atheist, you cannot account. We've just done transcendentals. We haven't even done morals yet, which is easier and quicker to trip you up. But we haven't even done, you have not been able to establish the universality of the trend. This is what I've got my notes in front of me. What you've agreed to, as we've gone through step by step, not dependent on human minds, not dependent upon time, not dependent upon space. They're transcendent, and that they're absolute. And you've also agreed that abstractions, which the laws of logic are, requires a mind. Now, I've asked you then, and I did this, I said, now account for them from your atheistic perspective. And this is when your train derailed. So because you cannot answer the question from your atheistic perspective, it means that your atheism is incapable of accounting for the universality of the laws of logic. In a Christian worldview, we can. We are thinking the thoughts of God after him when we discover, use, identify the laws of logic, which are universal truth statements which require a mind, which are absolute and transcendent. Because of that quality, and because these laws of logic require minds, because that's what it is. Logic is a process of the mind. And the laws of logic are those absolutes upon which the process of the mind are dependent, and those laws are themselves abstractions. We know of no place where an abstraction occurs without a mind. The laws of logic are universal. The implication is a universal mind. As a Christian, I can say God is the one who authors and reveals the laws of logic, and that we discover them and operate within them because they are universally about Him and His transcendent nature. I can account from it from my Christian worldview. You can't. Therefore, your worldview is insufficient. Mine is the one that can account for it. This is one of the weaknesses of atheism.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Can you be wrong about your belief in God? Yes or no?
No.
You cannot be wrong.
No.
Well, right there.
You asked me. I told you.
No, I love the honesty. So you're saying that your knowledge is infallible?
No.
No. So your knowledge has led you to believe that God exists in an absolute level, correct?
No.
No. What did then? Wasn't it the personal experience that you got from God?
The Holy Spirit Himself came to me in such power that all I could do was keep my face to the ground and yell out my agonizing tears of repentance in the presence of an incredibly pervasive holiness.
I'm asking you this.
You asked me. I'm telling you. You want to tell me the answer why?
I know you are. Did you need a mind for that to occur?
Yeah, my mind. I needed to be aware.
You needed a mind for that to occur.
Yeah.
So I'm asking you in regard. Hello. I'm asking you in regards to what you know. I said, are you infallible? Meaning, can you be mistaken, or are you 100% on everything you know?
I didn't say 100% on everything I know. How do I know God exists? That's all you're asking about, God's existence. I know He exists. I'm positive.
You know. Okay, well then let me ask you this then. If God doesn't exist, do the laws of logic still exist?
No.
If God doesn't exist, the laws of logic do not exist.
Correct.
Great. So what you are basically assuming, you're creating this situation to where the laws of logic only exist if a God exists, right?
I didn't say a God.
Well, your God, sorry.
The Christian God.
The Christian God. And what you're saying is that you cannot be wrong about the idea of your God being either true or not.
That's correct.
How did you get to that conclusion in your life?
Because, as I was trying to tell you, the Holy Spirit Himself manifested Himself to me, came to me in His holy, incredible presence.
How did you know that was Him?
Can I finish?
How did you know that was Him?
Okay.
How did you know it was Him?
Because I knew.
How?
I don't know how. I just knew.
You don't know how. You just knew.
Yes.
So here's a man like yourself that's claiming you can't be wrong. The laws of logic do not exist. The laws of logic do not exist unless God exists. But you know that there's a God. You just don't know how you know. You don't know how you know what you're claiming everyone else should know.
Mike, can you please calm down for a second, Mike? Are you there? Okay. You asked me how I know. I'm telling you.
What happened here is you just destroyed him on the logic thing, and now he's trying to get you on your experience.
Yeah, he's trying to, but he won't let me finish it.
I muted him. Mike, this is ridiculous. That's my opinion is it didn't go well on the logic, and now he's trying to nail you down on your how you know that God exists, which he's muted, so you can continue.
Well, I was trying to answer the question, but every time I tried, he would interrupt.
You know, one of the observations that I have, Tim, is that you saw he started out with a personal claim against Matt, that Matt's a liar. When he couldn't support that, he dodged that by trying to get into another topic. He's the one that stated that Matt is dodging. Matt asked him very specific questions. He answered those. Matt's taking notes on it, goes back to what he actually says, and then he says, no, since that disagrees with, now that he sees the fallacy of his worldview, let's just throw out what I said before, now I'm going to change my mind. That's dodging. And he's been claiming that Matt's doing the dodging. Matt's answering questions. He's pretending as if Matt didn't answer questions. And he wants Matt to live in his worldview that he can't even support. Matt showed his worldview's invalid, but he wants Matt to have to live in his worldview when he's actually living in Matt's. That's the problem.
Yeah, there's no reason to continue with him. I want to move on. I want to move on to Drew, who's been waiting probably an hour or so.
You just made Drew's wife run away. She was behind him there.
Drew, you can unmute yourself there. There you go.
All right. Hear me, guys?
Hi.
Hey, Matt.
Hi.
Wingnuts, fellow Wingnuts. First time on a Google Hangout, and just wanted to say, hey, Matt, congratulations on your 20th year at CARM. You've been a big inspiration for me. Well, your ministry has. I don't want to give you the
Praise God.
by saying that you have. I thoroughly enjoy your website and your podcasts.
Praise God.
Yeah. I listen to them pretty much on a daily basis.
Oh, you're a smart and wise man, obviously.
Well, I'm getting there. And Andrew, just to let you know, I did download from the Wingnut podcast the hermeneutic sessions that you do have. I haven't had a chance to listen to them yet.
They're good sleeping material.
Well, we'll make that a debatable issue at some point, but yeah, I do have those and plan on listening to those. I'm a minister myself. I love the Lord.
Good.
Yeah.
What church?
Heart of Worship Church of God. We're over here in northern Kentucky.
Oh, so you're premillennial Arminian dispensational? I'm kidding.
Well,
I'm
yeah,
asking you.
If you want to throw me in that, go ahead. But
I'm just having fun. So praise God.
But no, I agree with a lot of your viewpoints.
A lot? That means you're wrong about some stuff.
Yeah, that too. But you know, after listening to you go round and around with this guy previously that just
yeah.
Well, yeah, atheists. What do you do with them? Pray for them and try and talk some sense into them. But
that's all you can do.
Yeah. But, no, congratulations, Matt.
Thanks.
You guys, and the other Wingnuts, Tim, and I don't know if Len's on here tonight. I've been listening to your podcast too, and you guys are you're entertaining, you're informative. Just to let you know, Matt, my wife, she pretty much listens to everything that I say to her and try to inform her of. And we were on our way. It was either back from Tennessee or down to Tennessee on a trip down there, and I was playing one of the podcasts, and she says, "Who is this guy? He's obnoxious." I said, I said, well, I said, that's part of the shtick on the radio at times, but just listen.
Well, can I comment about that a little bit? Because
go right ahead. She's in the background listening and laughing. Go right ahead.
Okay. Because I'm just to be straight. It really is a concern for me. I mean, I joke about being obnoxious, and I wrote a book with the title is How to Woo and Win Women by Being an Obnoxious Jerk, and and I try that. But I honestly do try and be nice and be patient. But sometimes it just gets difficult when you're constantly doing this, constantly. And she might hear, or people have said, man, you're kind of tough sometimes, and yeah, I am. And I try and be nice, and most people say I'm very nice and very patient, but every now and then, I just lose it.
Yeah, it happens. It does happen. But I explained to her. I said, "Honey, you
get her on the camera.
Listening, huh?
Yeah, get her on the camera.
Get her on camera. Come here, baby. Come here.
She's like my wife. No.
She ran so quick once Tim said unmute your mic.
I saw her.
Yeah.
Too late. I saw her. Hey, there you are. Hi. How are you doing?
This is my lovely bride.
Let me ask you. Honestly, because I don't know if you know, but I have Asperger's. Do you know that?
Yeah.
Okay. So it means I have social deficiencies and things like that. And that's the excuse I use, and it goes a long way. So what was I obnoxious about? What made you think I was obnoxious? Maybe I can work on it.
He would probably remember better than myself because I don't honestly remember saying that comment.
You were talking to a Roman Catholic and trying to point out some of his erroneous thoughts and beliefs. And
well, then I have to be obnoxious when I do that. They deserve it.
That's what I explained to her. So I got you back on her good side. I mean, it was her first podcast. Listen to. She doesn't listen to the theological stuff like I do. She just kind of listens to what I ramble and
I
rant
hear
onto her
enough
about.
of it from him.
Yeah, so.
Yeah. Okay. Well, good. Good.
She was in the background tonight when you were talking with the previous.
Now, was I obnoxious then?
No.
That
I
was
believe
nice.
you what you have to do. I mean, it's not always going to be a bed of roses per se. You know, when dealing with conflictual people and
That's right. Well, was he obnoxious?
the other guy, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And you know.
Now I'm vindicated. Good.
Yeah.
You're good.
Okay.
But
all right.
But I just want to say, hey, Matt, again, congrats, and gonna look to try and help you, try and support your ministry somewhere along the way here, because I personally do love CARM.
Good. Praise God.
And everything that you've done, and you've opened my eyes up, honestly, to some new stuff.
Oh, good. Well, good.
Things that I didn't, really know before. Different views and different.
That's good. Because I want people to be exposed and to be challenged. And then I honestly do tell people, if you study, if I make you think, this, that, and then you study and still disagree, but you agree intelligently and biblically, praise God. As long as it's not in the essentials, And that's good. That's what we like to. I love to hear that.
Yeah. And I mean, you've opened up my my mind a little bit to Calvinism. Looking at
You're predestined. It's predestined to happen to you.
It's predestined to happen, brother. I mean, it is. And, I believe in the limited atonement. And
whoa, dude.
Yeah, seriously, I do.
Good for you.
I believe in that point. I believe in the total depravity of man.
Yeah, that's pretty easy.
I don't believe that we have the ability within ourselves to reach out to God when we're dead in our sins and trespasses. Some of the people in my church may not agree with that, but that's, okay, fine, whatever. But just studying the scriptures and, just hearing what you have to say. And
so which point are you lacking? I mean, limited atonement's usually the hardest one for folks.
No, I believe that it's limited to those who believe. It's not for everybody. It's limited to the believers. The ones that God has called, that God has drawn to Christ through the Holy Spirit, and that's we can't get there on our own. It's not for everybody. It's just for those who believe, and that's I'm still new to getting into the points of it. And
that's right. Have you been to my site, the Calvinist Corner?
I was there a couple of times. The 2 times that I did get to go there, I really didn't get a chance to really go into stuff. Because I got distracted and had to go into other things, but yeah, it's in one of my favorite places on my browser.
Good.
Yeah, you've praise the Lord for your ministry. Praise the Lord for what He's done through you, and for those that you've helped, and your ministry around the world, your missionaries that you have out there, so to speak, the guys in Turkey and South America, and yeah.
We're trying, for the glory of God. That's what it's for.
That's exactly what it's for. That's exactly what it's for.
That's right.
Whether it's pre-mill, all-mill, post-mill, who cares? It doesn't matter. I'm looking at some of the all-mill stuff.
Okay.
I'm looking at some of it. You got me to thinking.
Well, what I'm concerned about in something like all-mill, pre-mill, I know that it's been in some churches, and it's worked both ways, where if you're pre-mill and you see all-mill people are liberal, don't take the Bible seriously. I had all-mill say that about the pre-mills. I want people to say, stop that.
Yeah.
Stop that. There's good reasons why people believe what they believe, but no position has all the answers.
Right.
And,
they don't.
Yeah.
They don't.
That's it.
Yeah. Boils down to Christ and Christ alone, saved through His grace and through His mercy, and faith alone in Christ, and nothing we can do to.
It's just like spiritual jacuzzi when you're saying that. It's like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we just need to be able to take the Bible literally where it's supposed to be literally, and we'll be fine. But
you want to go there, huh?
But I did for folks. I did drop a link. You Drew, you mentioned about donating to CARM. I dropped the link in for folks, both on Mixer and in the chat, for folks that do want to donate to CARM. Let me give a pitch. Since Matt wouldn't, one of the things that we said at the anniversary is that CARM has done in 20 years what many ministries have really hoped to be able to do in getting the amount of material out there, in getting just the discussions going in so many areas, and yet the internet's changed. And if you want to see CARM do what it's done in the last 20 years in the next 20 years, my suggestion is go to carm.org/donate and help make it happen.
Yeah. I do want to ask Matt one more thing real quick.
Sure.
When you were in Ohio, was it last year?
Yeah.
And you took a trip to the Creation Museum?
Yeah, we did it with Andrew and I and others. Yeah, it was great.
What'd you think about that?
It was good. I mean, I wish it had a little more technical stuff in it.
Right.
I like that stuff, but for what it was good.
Yeah. Well, we live not too far from it, and yeah, it's a neat place.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's a good ministry too. But
it is.
Well, then I hope to see you out in April for the Ohio Fire. Second weekend in April.
April.
Every April.
Every April. Okay, I'll check it out.
We don't always have Matt, but maybe we could talk him into coming more often.
There you go.
Well, I gotta lower my standards again, but yeah, it's doable.
But there is rumor that Bible Thumping Wingnut will be representing.
Oh,
all right. All right.
Well, we got the cruise in April.
That's right. Well, actually, so I go right from Ohio Fire directly to the cruise. That's the reason I can't get there that Saturday night. I'm going to be flying from Ohio Fire to the down there.
Hey, Andrew, you got that stuff up on your website?
I think so. Let me check while Matt goes blah 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 really fast.
What?
If you guys saw that skit where Matt where Ryan was pretending to be Matt speaking really, really fast, I think Matt actually does talk that fast when he gets excited.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah. People say, "What are you?" I'm a millennial Baptist, non-cessationist, covenantal Calvinist. Yeah. I actually had that on a T-shirt.
Yeah.
So I'll put the link there in chat for you, Drew.
All right. Well, I appreciate it, guys. And again,
hey, man, thank you.
Pray for you, Matt, and Wingnuts. Tim, good job, guys, on the stuff you're doing. Good job on the program. Not meaning to swell your guys' heads up or anything, but I appreciate it, and I know others do too.
Thank you. They do a good job.
Yep. I'll get out of here and let somebody else get in, all right?
All right, Drew, take care.
All right, guys.
All right, God bless, Drew.
Thanks, Drew.
Thanks.
All right.
Tim, the Wingnuts were represented this weekend. There were a number of Wingnuts that were out at the 20th anniversary. Excellent. Not all who joined the Hangout all the time, but there were several people that came up and said that they've been listening and watching to Matt and I on your show. So just to let you know that. Had about a dozen people.
Super. Next, we have an interesting guest. I never interacted with this person, but Matt Slick, you'd be happy to find out that this person has one video on their YouTube channel, and they take 15. They compare 15 top YouTubers like Matt Slick, J.D. Kane, and Bible Thumping Wingnut, and they rate them. He rates them on intelligence, entertainment value, and how personable they are. I haven't listened to the video.
No.
When he entered the Google Hangout, I clicked on his profile and then went to his YouTube channel. He has one video, and he rates Matt Slick number 1.
Oh, really?
Amongst 15 atheists and theists. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 theists in the group and 7 atheists. And he rates you number 1, Matt Slick.
For what? Being obnoxious and irritating? Because I'll take that one.
In intelligence, entertainment, and how personable you are. I don't know how he rated these because I didn't listen to the video. I just looked through. He's got charts and everything. And Andrew Rappaport's on the list.
Oh, good.
Len Pettis and myself. I'm last. Ted.
Wait, are you saying that Len Pettis is above you?
Len Pettis is above you, sir.
Well, that makes sense. I'm not as entertaining.
Everyone on the list is ahead of me. Everyone. So
at least you're on the list.
I guess I could say I am a top YouTuber. There you go, on the theist community. So I hope this gentleman's or person's camera will work, or at least his microphone. We've been talking about you. Your name, your Google name is Appeal to Martin. So, are you there, person? Appeal to Martin? I'm going to turn your microphone on. Hey, welcome to the Bible Thumping Show.
Hello.
You're on, man.
How you doing?
Good. Did you hear that wonderful introduction I just gave you?
I did. I feel popular.
Well, you only got 12 views on that video. Maybe we can get a few more.
Maybe. Yeah. I thought it'd be fun to do. So I was just thinking one day. I watch all you guys know quite a bit about your material, so I thought I'd compile them all. And
I think you put a lot of work into that video. Probably you put 22 minutes with all the charts and everything. So we'll share that so that people can hear how stupid I am and how smart Matt Slick is. So that's fine with me. So anyway, you're on. What do you want to talk about? You're on with Matt Slick.
All right. So I haven't heard much about this argument you just had with that first atheist. So would you say that when you name a rock, so a rock has all of its properties, and we name it a rock. So without minds, what you were talking about on Earth, a rock would still have all of its properties, but it wouldn't have the name of the rock. So why wouldn't I guess logic would be descriptive of our environment, so I guess I don't see why that's an issue.
I don't understand what the issue is. Are you an atheist by the way? Are you there? Hello?
Yeah.
Are you an atheist?
Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are an atheist? Okay. Well, without minds, a rock would still have its properties, yes, but it would not have a name. That's true. So I don't understand the difficulty yet or the point.
Okay, well, go through that last little bit that you were talking to with that atheist before he got kicked. Go through that last little bit.
Well, I'm not sure there was a lot of concentrated statements within a short period of time, so I'm not sure which. Oh, look, hey, Chris made it home. Cool, good. But let me just kind of expand what you said a little bit. Without minds, a rock would still have all its properties, yes, because properties emanate, out of what something is. But it wouldn't have a name, right? A name is just as you know, in English, it's just a syllable, one syllable, rock, and we call
it'd be an abstraction.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we recognize what it is. We recognize its properties and its consistency. And so we recognize what we call rockness. So if we go into a field, we see another rock, it won't be the exact same one. But we'll say, hey, there's another rock. And I'd point over there and go, yeah, there's another rock. So what we're doing is recognizing a quality of rockness by observing the properties. So the properties are not, the properties, we just say the properties of rockness are universal in that they will always be manifested when we have the quality and nature of what we call a rock as manifested. We assign a value to it, a symbol to it, a word symbol. So there's no problem here. So I'm not understanding the difficulty.
Well, we'll just walk through the last little bit of your argument, and maybe I can clear it up a little bit.
I don't remember what the last bit of the argument was. Sorry.
Well, go through I don't know. Just walk through it then.
Well, the laws of logic are transcendent absolute abstractions, and they're not dependent upon our mind, but they're dependent upon a universal mind. Since they have universal, the laws of logic are universal, transcendent, absolute abstractions. Abstractions require a mind. Therefore, it's logical to conclude that there's a universal mind behind them. A universal mind is God. That's the whole point of the argument. Where an atheist could not postulate intellectually that I'm aware of so far, after years of doing this, I've not seen any or encountered any argument from an atheist that can account for these universal laws of logic. But the closest they've gotten to is what I call the fallacy of, you know, I had it and I just lost it. Conflation. It's when you identify the thing you're talking about with the thing. And I've noticed that atheists will do that. They'll say, I'm trying to remember, represent them properly, the ones who give me this argument. They'll say, but Matt, if there's no minds, the rock is still a rock, so therefore the law of logic is still valid, even though there's no minds there. And the mistake that they're making there is that they are being inconsistent with the argument. What they're doing is they're saying, if there's no minds, well, if there are no minds, no statements about anything can be made. There's just nothing. It's just objects, but we wouldn't even know there are objects there. But what we're doing is saying, in our world of abstraction, where we know things, we're going to postulate a situation in when there are no minds, and there's an object. And the object still has truth to it. And there's still a truth that it's a rock. But in order to do that, you have to be inside of our world to say that, which proves that the laws of logic are not dependent upon our minds, and proves that they require minds. So their argument actually refutes itself, but they don't see it. I'm not trying to be insulting, but I believe it's because they're atheists and their minds aren't trained enough in logic. And I mean, that's not the right way to say that. Because they're atheists, they're hamstrung in certain areas, and their presuppositions prevent them from going down the road of logic further than they need. Than they need to. Excuse me.
Hello? Hello?
Yeah, Matt just lost his connection, so he's going to get back in. In the meantime, do you want to just use this mic over here?
Let's see if it works.
This is where I should say something really fun and entertaining, but I don't know. While Matt's getting back in, hope that there's still room to get back in.
It's not connecting at all.
It's not connecting. You want to just use this?
We're on the same computer.
Oh, we're on the same network.
Yeah, I mean, same network.
Yeah.
That's weird. I mean,
That's the difference between a Windows machine and a Mac. Just saying. Just saying.
That's strange.
So I guess while you're reconnecting, so you put Len Pettis as more intelligent than me. I don't know. That's a tough one. That's a hard one to take.
Yeah, I don't. It was obviously really subjective. I did it in like the whole thing in like 30 minutes, but yeah.
Oh, I can't follow the conversation. I can't hear him.
Oh, I could take. Well, no, I could solve that problem by pulling this out. Ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, we're gonna. It's a good thing I happen to be here. We could just move this over like this, and swing this over, Matt, for you there.
All right. Anyway, I have no idea what happened. My system has never done it before. Just, it's wigging out.
So, you've got Andrew Rappaport in the house. He's using your
old
internet.
build, so I'm thinking about having to rebuild it. But
probably
it's been on for a long time. But anyway, I'm going to just restart it and get back in. So I don't know if you guys heard anything or say anything.
Okay, so can you hear me?
Hold on.
All right. From a naturalistic standpoint, say that the minds evolved through natural selection, so on and so forth. So why couldn't, whenever minds did evolve to the degree where they had consciousness, why couldn't laws of logic just be descriptions of basically the environment?
Because what you're doing is presupposing the ability of the laws of logic to make a statement about that. You're saying, why couldn't they be descriptions of what is there? Well, you're saying that something exists and it has a property of existence. And that's great. But to say that they just come in, or the laws come into existence as our awareness comes in, what you're saying is there's a product of human minds. See,
They're descriptions.
Of what?
Law of non-contradiction. A rock is a rock. How would you say it?
Well, they're descriptions.
A rock is not a rock in the same relationship.
Yeah, but the law of non-contradiction is a statement about statements.
I'm just saying, if you could differentiate between a rock, what we would call a rock, you wouldn't know. It would just be some thing relative to another thing. You would know that they were different and they couldn't be the same thing in the same time in the same relationship.
Yeah, that's the thing that's interesting, is you would know that. Yeah, you would. And the question is why? Why is it that you would know it and I would know it and we're 2 miles apart? That's the whole question. To say, well, they just is the way it is, doesn't answer the question, because let's say we're both evolving in a time machine and we both, develop language at the same time, and you're over there, I'm over here. Let me go do this. Well, then, why is it that we recognize these things? Well, if laws of logic are the product of your mind and my mind, and if we are recognizing the exact same thing, then it's either because our physical brains are exactly identical, which can't be the case, or you're saying we're just observing something about the universe, and then we're describing that. But in order to observe it and describe it, we have to have those laws in place to do that. So we have to say, well, that is a rock, and we know the rock is not a tree. And you say, I'm observing that truth. No, you're not. You are declaring the truth. You see what I'm saying?
I sort of do. I guess we'll just have to look a little more into that, because
it's hard to get through. It is, because laws of logic can't be the product of human minds, because your mind and my mind are different. We're not going to agree about everything.
Right.
And plus, think about this: if you're an evolutionist, are you an evolutionist?
Yes.
Okay. Well, evolution. Let me ask you this: Are you a materialist? The material, physical realm, chemistry, motion, matter, it's all there is.
Yeah, natural, yeah.
Okay, well, that refutes itself. And let me show you why this is important. I'm not trying to just attack your position and dodge. I'm trying to show you something. That your position is self-refuting, and is self-refuting, I'll show you how it is. But in the process, let's show you something else about logic a little bit. Look at my computer restarting. That's just weird. It's self-refuting because if everything operates under the laws of chemistry and motion and matter, then there's no way to validate that the laws or the logical processes in your mind are the correct ones. Because if your brain, yeah, it is. There's no way to be able to tell if one chemical state that leaves another chemical state doesn't produce logic. It just is changing states. Why does one chemical state in the brain that leads to another chemical state in the brain produce proper logical inference? This is a question we could talk about later. But this is a problem. And it shows that the naturalism can't work. Well, in order for it to show it doesn't work, we have to use logic. But logic isn't the product of the logic. The laws of logic aren't the product of human minds. They're independent of our minds. We reach out to them. But they're laws. These laws are also abstractions. But to say that we're just observing something is to actually beg the question. If you observe a rock is not the same thing as a tree, you're observing and identifying a rock, which is presupposed in the law of identity. That's a rock. It's not the same as a tree. You say, that's how I know the law of non-contradiction works, because we can observe it. But you're not observing it. You're observing what you see, and you say it's not the same thing as that thing. But how do you know that's true? Because you're assuming it's true, but how do you know it's true? You can't demonstrate its truth from your atheistic perspective.
Right. Well, go back to, what was your very first point? It slipped my mind. The thing that I first disagreed with.
You disagreed with?
You lost your notes.
I have no clue. Yeah, my notes were on my computer, and I had to reboot. That is weird. Never had that before. Yeah. It's this weird thing.
That's Andrew Rappaport's computer probably caused that.
No, this is an old build, and I push my machines exceedingly. I do a lot of stuff to my machines. Normally I have to build it once a year. This has been like 3-4 years. Plus it's had an upgrade. So I'm actually working on a new build, which means a new hard drive. I'm just building it in slowly. Because I mean, I'll have 14, 20 programs running at once, and so it can crash.
There you go. How immaterial.
Oh, you said something about one chemical state being right over another one.
No, how does one chemical state that leads to another chemical state produce proper logical inference?
Because natural selection, if there could potentially be ones that wouldn't, but natural selection would have sorted those out and picked the ones that comport best with reality.
How do you know that?
Because the impossibility of the croncherry. If they didn't, we wouldn't be alive.
You're presupposing the laws of logic here, and what you're doing is you're saying the laws of logic are there, and that's why natural selection works.
I guess I don't. Say that again.
You're presupposing the laws of logic. The laws of logic are universal. You're saying that the people who don't obey the laws of logic, not every single instance and every single time, but you're generically saying if you don't obey the laws of logic, you end up dying, and natural selection removes it. All that's saying is people who are really stupid and do stupid things aren't going to pass on their genes. It's not an issue of the laws of logic. If you think you can jump across that cavern and you fall 1,000 feet to your death, your genes aren't going to be passed on at that point. That's not an issue of the laws of logic. The Cro-Magnon man, so to speak, or Eanthropus Dawsoni, if you ever want to go with that, they're not following the laws of logic. How could, in natural selection and evolution, how could they get to here now? It's not an issue of logic. Two monkeys are fighting over a banana, right? Are they using the laws of logic? Well, one's going to survive because he's bigger than the other. Does that mean natural laws of logic are what worked and helped him get in? No, not at all.
But when you were talking specifically about what chemical state would be right over another, are you talking right relative to
No, I didn't say that. I did not say that. I said, how does one chemical state that leads to another chemical state in the brain produce proper logical inference? So it's you have a chemical state. Let me over-exaggerate the illustration. It's overly simplistic. We have a bunch of Petri dishes with different chemicals in them, say 10 chemicals. And we have wires. And we put wires all across these 10 dishes, so we've got a couple thousand connections, cross connections. Let's just say that's the case. Then we take some chemical out of one Petri dish, because they're all different chemicals, we put it into another one, another one, another one, another one, another one. Well, it represents the brain. Does that produce proper logical inference?
No.
No, it doesn't. And that's simplistic, but that's the problem. Just because the brain's more complicated, if we say, well, it's more complicated, okay, let's add a kabillion Petri dishes and even more wiring. Now we just mix chemicals. Does that produce proper logical inference?
I just think that
the problem. So that's why, in that argument, naturalism refutes itself. The idea of a materialistic atheistic position refutes itself. This is significant because I can show you from your own position, materialistic atheism, that you therefore cannot trust your own thinking from that perspective. But if natural selection is true, and you want to say that that's what we disavow for those who are thinking and non-thinking, I'm showing you that your position is self-refuting, yet you still are going to have kids and pass on genes. So it's your assumption that it reduces people, they wouldn't survive, isn't true. Illogical people survive all the time.
Okay, so survivability is different from just following the laws of logic, not necessarily understanding them.
One of the things that you actually said when you were talking to Matt was that you may not even have been aware that you gave natural selection a mind. You said natural selection won't select, it will die if it doesn't choose, and natural selection does not choose. It doesn't have a mind in which to choose.
It's individual genes conforming to their environment. The environment ultimately chooses.
The environment doesn't choose. Environment doesn't make a choice. It doesn't have a mind.
It doesn't have to have a mind.
Then how does it choose? But what's the basis in which it makes a decision?
It doesn't make a decision. The genes, whichever gene conforms best to the environment, will. It's a random mutation. If that random mutation conforms to the environment, natural selection will pick it to move on.
Yeah, but that's not a selection. He just went there. That is not it making a selection. That's a mutation. You see, the thing is that when we look at actual science, we end up, even if we're trying to deny God, we end up speaking in language and giving nature attributes that only a person can have.
It's difficult whenever you're talking about genes and natural selection not to apply teleological language, but ultimately.
Okay, so why is that hard?
Because it's just how we talk. It's just how we talk, and it's more fluent. If you read Richard Dawkins' book, The Selfish Gene, he'll speak teleologically, but he'll specifically say why he is. It's more of a narrative. It's easier to follow. When he'll switch back into quote unquote gene talk, every once in a while to bring you back in, but it's just more of a story, more smooth, because that's the way that we see things now.
Well, exactly. As he says, we see things that look like they're designed, but because of his religious position that there can't be a God, we reject that, so then we're going to pretend like it's not designed. But everything we see, the reason we talk like that is because this is what we end up knowing. We know that there must have been a creator. That's the whole point. That's why it's hard for us, because we know this. So... all right.
Because let me just get on and say that.
Hey
guys,
I want to move along here.
All right, that's fine. Yeah.
By the way, one of my brothers just got here, and I'm not going to see him for a long time. And it's 8:30 for me, so I'm just going to, if you don't mind, bow out and just hang with my bro for a while, all right? And then Andrew, he'll keep going.
Okay.
Yeah, we were just going to add Chris Honholtz to the discussion. He was going to sing us a song or something about his appreciation for Matt Slick. I think
I was gonna suggest that we add Chris, because he texted me saying he's just listening, and Chris has some cool things he could talk about from last night. And by the way, just because you can't see the other side of the camera, but Matt's brother's bigger than him. Matt's the little guy in the family. I've come to discover that.
I told you, and I'm 6 feet tall, 200 pounds. How tall are you?
6'3".
6'3", and what? 580? What? 250?
I'm not that big.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm the smallest. I'm the oldest and the smallest. I'm 6 feet at 200 pounds, and you're 6'3".
Yeah.
And Eric is 6'2".
I guess. He's a moose.
Yeah, he's a moose. He's like 280 though.
He's 300.
But he's freaking strong.
He's strong.
You don't want to mess with him. Well, he's weird strong. He's like Hulk. He's like Hulk strong.
Oh, Chris is saying that he can't join.
Oh, too bad. Okay, I'm gonna get out and just go blab my bro and stuff like that.
All right. Well,
Chris, man, loved you being here, buddy. It was awesome.
it was soothing to see his profile picture there. I feel much more comfortable too.
All right.
Andrew Rappaport.
Yes, sir.
What do you want to do, sir? I need to end this. You want to continue on Mixler or what?
Whatever you want.
Whatever you want, because we got almost 40 viewers. We've got 9 on Mixler.
Well, we can continue if you want to continue on Mixer for a while.
Done.
Controls.
I'm done.
I know you're done, but if you give me controls, and I can give them to some others here, and we can just continue some discussions for a little while.
All right. So we will.
I don't know how much longer I'll go, because although it's early here, I'm not used to doing this hangout this early in the evening. You know, it's usually it would be 10:30 for me, and it's still early. It's only 8:30 here. It's nice.
It's still 10:30 for me.
Yeah. So, but Dustin Seegers just joined. We should definitely continue and put him in.
Yes. So
the brain is here.
I'm going to end. I've been talking to Dustin while we've been talking here. Well, Matt has been engaging with folks, and Dustin's going to join us first thing one of these weeks, and he's going to talk to Matt and reminisce about old times and stay as long as he wants. So if you want to hear Dustin Seegers join the group, go to Mixler. I'm going to post a link to that. It's just audio, no video on Mixler. You can go to BibleThumpingWingnut.com and get that link to Mixler, or you can wait until I post that link on the comment thread of the video. So thanks for listening, everybody. And next week, I'm sure Matt will be with us once again. And until then, may God bless each and every one of you.